Hello, everybody. Welcome to Roleplay Give. We are a virtual tabletop gaming community playing a little bit of 5e tonight. Tonight we are playing Against the Giants. Um, sort of in an interstitial moment of that module because the party was able to apprehend basically their big bads for the longest period of time. They have been hoping to find Gellin Primewater, and now they have him in their clutches. They were at the steading of the Hill Giants. They made a break for it, lost two of their horses en route to a rendezvous with an airship that would take them the rest of the way to Neal Dra, but they've had to stay awake that entire time, continuously knocking out their captors because they fear their captors have the ability to immediately teleport away should they regain consciousness. So all of them have been awake for over 20 hours straight and moving and on the run. They are now, though, back on the Turkey Run Mark III, which is piloted by Meriwether's uncle, Colonel uh, Colonel Hastings Clark, and they have a moment to breathe. Finally, we are down a player again this week. We were Edless. It's Edless. It's the Edless Horseman. We were Edless 2 weeks ago, but we are Winstonless
that's
tonight.
happy.
So tonight, the part of Robespierre will be played by lots of people, but mostly by Ed. And here's hoping we don't kill Robes. We'll see what happens. But tonight we are going to continue on with the storyline. We're going to pick up exactly where we left off, which is they are now on board the Turkey Mark III. They have a level of exhaustion. They have two captives that they have kept separate. I believe you all can move your tokens to where you want, and Ed, you can move robes as well. And so just pinging for people's, I'll put the battle map scene up here so people can see what I'm talking about here. Oops, I'm just rotating Gellin.
Can you put Gellin on the foreship and
Well, that's
foreshade
what
on the
foreshade-
aft?
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's a little confusing since she's foreshade.
What I was
Right.
thinking.
Sorry. She could have gone on the foredeck. Sorry.
Well, now she's on the aft castle. Or the poop
I
deck.
prefer they be on the right and the left. Thank you.
So, just so people know what's going on here, right here is Forshade Azoth, clearly a cult member of the Cult of Lulth. Up until very recently, possessed an artifact of the Demon Web Queen, but the party killed her so that they could take the artifact off of her body and then revivified her because they had questions. And that artifact is now in the possession of Meriwether. This is Gellin Primewater, who was the richest man in town in Saltmarsh, but also engaged in quite a few nefarious activities, including smuggling and humanoid trafficking, for which he is very much wanted and despised in the country, the nation of Keeland. So he was very much a wanted man. And they were found together in the steading of the Hill Giants, being entertained by the chieftain of the Hill Giants. This is Colonel Uncle Hastings Clark, and then I will let everybody else introduce themselves, and I would like to start with Ed.
All right. I am Ed. I'm playing Elva Willispark. I'm an Aasimar fighter of the Eldritch Knight variety. And I was very quiet for some time recently.
I think you did say a couple things. I even did an Elva impersonation at one point. All right. We will move on to Dusty.
Hello, I'm Dusty. I play Vela Darkison, a female wood elf cleric / rogue, mostly cleric. And I am currently in love with Robespierre, but in denial of it. Hating myself because I think I might be a cultist, but also being okay with the idea that maybe I'm not a cultist. We've got a lot of dissonance happening right now.
I thought you were
Vela.
gonna hate yourself for loving him, but
I hate myself for
I'm-
loving you, but also for all the things that I do. And I am sparing the dying regularly on these 2 dead bodies. Not dead bodies. They're unconscious.
they
Those
are
are different.
unconscious. This is a little different. Okay.
They're not.
They're not
not
dead
dead
yet.
Next we will go to Robin. I need to wind up.
I am playing Meriwether Clark, the niece of the colonel of the ship. Meriwether is a furball ranger druid, and she recently took on the threat of law because she didn't want Forshade to have it, and it seemed like a bad idea for Robespierre to have double. So this is not something I don't think she would pick on her own. It has some pretty nasty vibes to it, but hopefully it doesn't have too much of a negative impact on me.
I think now would be a good time for me to also another bit of lore drop was not lore drop necessarily, but another thing the party noticed after observing these two and robes is that the threads of Loath constrict and embed themselves in the flesh of their wearers. And so it was very difficult to get this one off Forshade because it was rather tight into her flesh, and you all discovered Robes is tighter on his wrist than it had been earlier. Okay, sorry. Just remembered that was another piece of pretty critical information you picked
I'm wearing
up last
mine
night.
on my ankle.
It's an anklet.
Yeah.
Epiladian.
Moving on to Tony.
Hi, everybody. My name's Tony, and I play Nuben Hammerhalter. He is a tiefling monk, Way of the Kensi, and he has the ever prestigious job of smacking Forshade with the flat side of his sword in the forehead every time she is brought back so that we can knock her out again. And he's enjoying it immensely.
When we go to break later, Tony,
Yep.
I want to talk to you about something we learned about from Ed this weekend, a creature called the Bagman, considering you have the bag of holding.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
you're making
probably
that
a real
really
threat.
different? Oh.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in trouble all of a sudden.
I'm not going to bring it into this game,
You
but
have to stay in at recess. I need to talk to you.
yeah, no, it's just I think you would find it
Accurate.
crazy and awesome. It's a
Cool.
extra dimensional creature that can travel into other people's bags of holding,
Ooh.
and it's a horror.
Can I play that character in our next campaign?
I think there's too much power in there.
That's fun.
By the way, Paul, every time you lean back just a little bit, you blend into your background and you get as blurry as
Yeah,
the rest of the
it's
stuff
real
in your
funny.
back. Yeah. See, now we said it out loud. It's like Facebook is listening. There he goes. It's like Facebook is listening and it's turning him blur or keeping him
I'm the Bagman.
whatever.
I love the blur. All right. I also like Suede and other 90s Britpop bands. I feel bad about that. Okay, getting back into the game. So, you are on the Turkey Run Mark III, heading towards Nildra with your two captives. We're going to play it. I think I had said, and I had to be reminded that this is even what we had agreed upon, that you are just boarded. So, you are up in the night sky. Well, no, we said morning. It was morning by the time you guys got picked up. Morning, you're in the morning air, and you are sailing off, and you've got Vela watching Gellin, and everyone else is at the aft castle
I would actually try to stay, trying not to get too close to the other bracelets. So
Okay,
I'm triangulating a little bit.
gotcha. So everybody is exhausted, and you have, I think, with the airship, I think it's only like 4 or 5 hour trip, so half day-ish. All the dogs need to go
Is
out
there
now.
anybody else on this ship that knows Spare the Dying?
No.
I don't like that at all.
No, these are all fighters and rangers. Although I suppose a
I'm gonna
ranger-
have a bit of a lie down myself.
Yeah, I want one. But spare these stupid idiots.
I don't remember what the timers were for the last knockouts.
3 hours.
3 hours for both of them.
Yep, and Four Shaved will wake up 1 hour earlier than Gellin, just
Okay.
based on the way that the relay was working.
So you have 2 hours actually, then we'll say for Four Shade and 3 for Gellin. Alright. Hey, I can't let you both out because there's only one cable right now. Donuts. Where are
We're
our
down
children?
one kid. One kid still at Pride.
Yeah, you're out of luck, Arlo. Sorry.
He's gonna poop in the house.
Yep.
We can blame Miles.
So, Uncle Hastings is at the wheel, and I guess, maybe leans over to Robes, which I don't want to do a whole lot of RP with that, but just, these look like dangerous people. You've kind of left your mission a little early, and Elva would be there, and Nubin could hear that too. Anything we should know?
Well, I don't want to role play Robes, but I think
Right.
he would say that that these were one of our primary targets as well.
These were one of our primary targets.
huh? Anyway, but yeah, he's just looking over at it. She came into town with him I believe it was, and whatever I'm saying is not canon because I cannot remember how long ago it would have been, but some 3 weeks ago is what I have in my head. And I believe she had been staying at the Purple Lemon Inn, is what we had heard.
I've seen those.
Purple lemons.
Yes.
Sorry, I can't concentrate. So, because
So,
I've
good
got
roleplay give, y'all. We're having a granty game right now.
Purple lemons are not uncommon in the Feywild.
Watch the dog poop.
yeah, well, make sure one can. Yeah, the other one is like begging me to go out.
All right. Yeah,
And-
purple lemons. I feel like the purple lemons, they must make very tasty drinks.
They may have.
Very tasty cocktails. You didn't put them in a cocktail?
I didn't really experience cocktails much in the Feywild.
I find that hard to believe about you, Ed. I feel like you would find
We're not
cocktails
talking about.
everywhere
We're
you
not
go.
talking about Ed.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Alma wasn't much of a drinker. If her excursion with Mary was any indication. No, neither of us held.
No,
it
she's
well.
perfectly. She's open to new experiences, but no, she did not drink much
Well,
previously.
my bad. I crossed them up.
So just trying to get the skinny from you guys just a little bit on what's going on with these two. Sees Nubin standing over that one, and then calls over to there's a Furbolg crew member here, and he says, "Haiti, this is I'm gonna need you to spell me here for a second. I need to talk to my niece." And then he will walk over here, and this one will come up here and take the helm. And he's gonna start speaking to you in Giant, in a very low voice. And I am not going to change my accent for that or anything like that. But in Giant, he says, "I believe, well, I have reason to suspect that there is a traitor in the king's court."
What leads you to that? And I'll speak in Giant as
Right,
well, but I have a little drawl in Giant too, apparently.
yeah.
What leads you to that impression?
It was my understanding when you left that we would be the agreed upon ship to pick you up and return you should you call. And yet it was only by happenstance that I found out that another airship was being sent to pick you up. Your mission was only to be between you, I forgot who the first guard was, and Chad. Oh.
I think it was Hap or something like that.
Hap, yeah.
Does that sound right?
It might be.
Okay.
But
Sounds right to me.
he it was not supposed to be widely known. I believe the other ship was being sent to intercept you. I belayed those orders and took this assignment on my own judgment. I just
Do
thought
you know
perhaps
who
you
the
should
captain of that ship was?
know. The captain of that ship was Brahima Sibi. I will type it in.
Are you just going?
I am not.
Now?
I am not. I always have
That
fantasy.
captain's name is Rob.
Joseph Assimi.
I always have fantasy name generator open on my computer.
Joseph done seen me.
All right.
Oh boy,
I like that
that's
name.
not what I had.
And I'm regretting it because there's a better one that I like way better.
You
But
can use it for the next one.
yeah.
I mean, we could just retcon it.
No, we'll
Retconning's
use what we-
allowed.
No, we're sticking with it. I'm committing. Captain Brahimo is also a Furbolg. It's young, came up the ranks quickly, probably due to the fighting with the Hill Giants earlier this year. I'm not sure that she has anything to do with it, but
Right.
she certainly
Well,
did
do
not
you-
object when I said I would be taking the mission.
Do you think it's safe for us to bring the captives back to the king, or?
I don't
or
I don't know, but I feel you need to be forewarned. I think you need to be forewarned that I have suspicions, and of course, this would be at the highest levels. Only the king, the spy master, the three of his advisors, including me, were aware that you were leaving for the steading. Hap is reporting back and has been debriefed. Chad is doing, I imagine, some sort of
General
cardio.
Chad things.
He's doing some sort of cardio workout in the cave. Oh, nope, I'm sorry, today is leg day. Oh.
Never
I've been
seen Black
advised.
Day. Sorry. Stole your joke.
Been advised that today is leg day. This just in.
This just.
Beep, 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 beep.
So, but those are all that know.
Right. Well, I mean, I I really only had the briefest of communication with anybody in that city, and I don't know who we could trust. But I don't know where else to bring these captives either. Maybe
No,
I should tell the rest of my friends. They might have ideas I don't. This is a bit beyond me.
I only.
But the last thing I'd like to do is bring them over to the king and have them let go because this Gellen's a squirmy one. He's already escaped more than once.
No, I believe we need to go directly to the king. Um, but I just felt like you should be aware of the situation before we land.
Appreciate that.
And he says, it might seem silly for me to be speaking in giant since the crew is 50% Furbolg, but the younger Furbolgs don't speak the old tongue as well. You're one of the youngest to still learn it. So, yeah, I'm making that shit up.
Pick up languages. I try.
So.
All right. Well, I would go over then and tell my friends. Just trying to see who. Okay, so this is one of the crewmen, huh?
Yes.
The one at the helm? Okay.
Yeah, that one was.
Then I think I would go
80.
by Vela
80.
first because she's over there without other.
His
crew
twin brother,
people over
Dominican Republic, is up on the front of the ship.
But I'll pass on to Vela what we were told, what I was told.
That makes me happy.
He's a full republic. Yeah. All right. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll pass on to
So-
Vela then what my uncle just told me. That
How long till we get there?
Couple hours, 3 to 4 hours.
but I guess we're supposed to go directly to the king.
Okay.
You have the ability to tell people in their heads, right? Maybe you can tell the others so the crew people don't intercept the message.
Yeah, I'm just real tired, and all I can think is like, if we get there, I could maybe cast Zone of Truth on the people around us, but I'm so tired and I need a nap in order to make that happen. Okay, yeah, I can tell. Sorry, I'm just so tired. Okay, what do you want me to tell?
Well, tell them that
Say
there's a traitor in the king's men or women
they're
at the
chained
highest
in
level.
King Arthur's cart. Okay. How far away are they? Just want to see if I have to move. That's a drawing, not a ruler. That's a ruler. Okay. I'm close enough to be able to talk to all of them, I believe.
Okay.
So I'll just each one of you telepathetically gets a voice in your head.
Pathetic.
I know,
It's
it's
even
my
pathetic
favorite.
at a distance.
I don't understand why Vela always sounds whiny when she's telepathic.
But each one also gets their own little message, like, Noob. I asked Noob if there's anything good to drink if he's found anything good to drink on the boat. I check in with Elva on if
Elva was
she's
sleeping.
made any good. Oh, Elva was napping?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, well then I wouldn't tell Elva yet. I would wait till Elva wakes up. How long is Elva napping? For full rest?
Probably not, because the trip isn't that long.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But if we're
Short rest.
exhausted and I don't have anything I'm supposed to be doing, I'm taking a nap.
Okay. Well, then I'll wait on Elva, and I'll tell Robes, but I'll giggle while doing so.
And ask him what he's wearing, even though you can see him.
I'm wearing what
Red
I wear
polo
every
with
day. Huh,
khakis.
Vela? I don't understand the question.
You not see me? I'm looking at you right now.
I know.
Somehow Robespierre just got more French.
Yeah, very scenario.
That's Italian.
That's Italian.
I know. It was more. What's his name from the other game? It was very Spanish.
It was a little Cesar.
It was a little Cesar.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
going for. Yeah.
Okay.
They're acknowledged.
Okay, everybody is knowledged.
And I also sent who
Except
told
for
you that?
Elva, who's sleeping.
Who told you that, Robin?
The captain.
The colonel. The colonel
The gr-
captain.
The
Well, the
green dot
captain
next to the
said-
captain.
The colonel, whatever. My
No,
uncle.
Colonel Hastings is this one.
Did Colonel Hastings tell you, or did Haiti tell you?
Colonel Hastings.
My uncle Hastings, told me that there's a traitor in the midst of the highest
Got it.
order of the
It was
king's
Colonel
men.
Hastings on the port side, or on the starboard side with the whisper.
Let's not make it more complicated.
It was Uncle Colonel
thought it
Captain Hastings. And he said,
Sorry, I thought it was one
all
of
of
the
those things are
No,
accurate.
it
All of
was
those
my
things are accurate.
uncle who
Okay.
told me. So
Okay.
then I thought I should tell you.
It's perfect.
It's really racist to
Good.
think that all furbolgs are her uncle.
I
Oh.
did it.
And I mean,
This is true, Vela. This is very, very racist. That was Rose.
Oh, he's gonna be so happy with how he's been played tonight.
you got played, Winston. All right. So I don't have a whole lot of content, but I do feel like we need to find out, since they will both wake up at one point during this trip, how this goes down. Because things could go differently. So, as we
Right.
get to the end of Four Shades' timer, which will come up within an hour, Noob has been watching with the short sword out, I believe.
Oh, yes.
And
Ready to give a smack. He's just like, twitch.
so I think, how did we do this the first time? I think it was, I had a chance of reacting.
Well, Vela has to wake her up so that I can surprise her with a smack.
Right.
No, she wakes up. You smack her. I spare the dying.
Right.
She wakes up automatically.
Maybe you are correct.
She wakes up with
We
one
could
hip
also
point.
I will
do that.
come.
We tried to do that with just check a medicine check as opposed to a spell. I suppose it doesn't really matter.
Well, it's not.
It's a cantrip.
It's a
fine.
cantrip.
All right. So, I mean, there is the possibility that you will miss. It's at advantage because she's prone.
I
As
can
I know
miss?
that it's coming up, I would come closer.
You can definitely miss.
I mean, when she wakes up, she gets squirmy.
Yeah.
I will also have handy my mace. So
I
if
just
he
kinda-
misses, I'll take over. Surprise round.
Noob kind of realizes that he really doesn't need his sword for this because his hands are also magical weapons that
It's true.
that's kind of silly. So he's just gonna punch her in the face when it's time.
All right. She starts to, the eyelids start to flutter. You get the signs that she's waking up again, and give
Oh
me.
yes,
And basically, I'm looking to see if you roll a nat 1 is really what I'm looking for.
I got it. Oh, so that could be bad. Yeah, I guess you're right. And then wait, where's my? There we go.
Ayla has her mace ready in case he misses.
Did it work?
Well, the attack button yet, but where? Oh, nope. No worries.
I don't think you missed.
Also, if you critted, I mean,
True.
Yeah.
It could be bad.
Well, it wouldn't be her fault.
Ryan.
It wouldn't auto death her, but okay. And then let's see if you fail on. Oh, spare the dying just as a thing. If medicine,
Fair
check can
dying,
fail.
yeah, but then
Yeah,
I
it
did
just
the
happens.
medicine check.
Yep.
But I
Oh,
think I know when she's gonna wake up.
1 hour. So she will. Well, I'm not gonna do this again. Let's just say you guys are.
No, actually, that's important because that means her and Gellin are gonna wake up at the exact same time.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yes.
Yeah, same.
But we could just do Gellin now.
Well, if you do him now, he takes a failed death save.
Well, I
Oh, we
could.
have to wait for him to start waking up.
I could-
Got it.
I could.
We could heal him and then hit him.
Yeah. heal him, then hit
I
him.
mean, it feels a little. I'm sleeping. I don't know what to say.
Is he?
Oh, they did worse things in the last session.
We did.
He is,
Okay. So
is he at 0
I have
or
a good
1?
berry spell. I could make some berries and just shove one in his mouth and then hit him right away.
I like
Perfect.
It doesn't give him a lot of health, but
Noob sitting there like, yeah.
I think we should do it with Force Shade, and we should do it because Gellen's the one that still has the bracelet. So if we make a mistake, he can get out a lot faster than Force Shade. So
Why haven't
Which
we
one do
killed
I-
him to get his bracelet yet?
Because I don't have another diamond.
Oh,
I can't bring him back from the
Right.
dead. He would just be dead. Which I'm okay with, personally, because I think all slavers should probably die. Just in general, I think that's okay. But
And
everybody else
the
is
one
okay
instruction
with
I
it.
received
And
from
also the
Winston.
king probably wants to question him.
Yeah, the one instruction
Robespierre
I
did
got
specifically ask me not to kill him.
right, and he said the one thing he wanted to say Robes would always roleplay is sparing Gellen's life if possible, unless there were no alternatives, and he would not betray the rest of the group, but he would argue for.
but he is
saving
not
him.
here.
but he is, and Elva had said that Gellen was under her protection too. So I feel like
Paul, did you all just experience like an eclipse or something? How did it get so dark in your room all of a sudden?
The sun went behind a tree.
And I pooped all over the door.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Robin. I just looked down and it was dark, and Paul, I thought I was having a seizure or something.
Oh, you're right. There. All right.
Whoa! The curtains were drawn.
The curtains were drawn, but I just turned the lights on.
So we're gonna test this by giving her a good berry. We're gonna redo what we just did, but with a good berry.
I think
Oh,
that
since she
it
doesn't have a bracelet, that makes sense.
makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll cast it. I think I have to cast it at a higher level because I don't have any of those spell slots left. Oh, it's a first level spell. I can do that. Okay. So I have some berries. I mean, if anybody's hungry, they're welcome to one. But let's give one to her.
Noob's
Okay.
like cracking his knuckles.
I got my mace ready. Just
Too
in
bad
case
they
he
lose
misses.
their magic in a day, because if you could ferment those.
I had to roll it just because it has this little button that says healing, and I'm like, what would happen if I roll it? It literally says 1 hit point per berry, so
Yeah.
when you roll it,
You get
it's
one.
a 1.
It rolls a 1d1.
It-
Yes, so.
the
I just think
suspense
that
is
was
killing me. What will it be? All right. You put in the and you know it kind of smushes in there because she doesn't have any chewing, but and starts to come chew
She's
again.
missing several teeth after Nubin's knocked him out
That's
repeatedly.
true. There's a couple. She is not looking pretty. I mean, she got the shit kicked out of her several times. You guys are waking her up to beat her up repeatedly.
Oh yeah, this is
Yeah.
torture.
Yeah.
Straight up torture.
Yep.
It's like waterboarding without the water.
If this
We're
was
just
a Star
boarding
Wars
her.
game, we'd be getting dark side points.
Honestly, though, how else are we supposed to bring her in? It's not like we're doing it because
I think we're being clever.
I don't know. I just
I think she
don't
doesn't have
feel
a bracelet
guilty about
anymore,
it.
and you could just let her wake up and be bound.
No, she's a spellcaster.
If she's bound and gagged, she can't do those things. This
I
is Ed
disagree.
talking, not Elva. Elva's
Yeah, I was gonna say though, you say that, but last time it was like this big, like we don't know what they're capable of, and the last thing we wanted was
But
them getting
Elva,
away.
as an arcane spellcaster, has a lot of theories about how that would work.
Yeah, but Elva's been wrong about pretty significant things before too, so we're just not wanting to take chances.
Like what? She's brilliant.
Oh, come on now.
Her capacity to contain liquor, I'll take that one.
The fact that maybe a bunch of giants don't want us to walk in and join their party, that was a pretty significant one.
It was not about how magic works. That was misreading people she hadn't met yet. That was a social calculation that failed.
So Nubin, are you going to hit her or what?
Yeah, because
We're just all playing robes.
hold
I'm
on,
so happy.
hold on. I don't know her AC right off the top of my head.
I have my mace ready if he misses.
Well, and when he
So we're
takes the
clear.
attack action, he can attack more than once. So,
That's true, but he did hit.
Oh yeah, he's
So just
so
barely.
if he missed, he could just hit her again.
Boom! She goes back out.
Then just for funny flurries of blows on her while she's unconscious.
1 hour.
Do I know that?
Yeah, you got a 10. Just barely, you know that.
It's just barely. Oh, she's still at the same time as Gellin.
Except we can wake him up right now too.
All right, let's go take care of Gellin.
Oh, so we didn't even wait any time? We just decided right away, let's...
It was like 6 minutes, 6 seconds.
Well,
I thought
that wasn't the
I thought that was a part of the plan we needed to discuss further too, but I'm just enjoying punching
This is
her.
getting a bit ridiculous.
I think realistically, it took about as long as we talked about it in game.
Yeah.
Which is about 2 minutes.
It's been 15 minutes of that.
All right, so like what I would suggest, guys, is let's not do the timing exactly the same. If we wait half an hour and then do it, then they won't be waking up at the same time, since we need to spell these things out, apparently.
You
my
see, Mary,
God.
that is why we have to have someone so smart as you.
I'm not smart. My intelligence is not high at all.
You are very, very wise.
So I feel like...
Are you trying to make Vela jealous? Compliment to Mary?
Uncle
That is
Hastings.
now my goal.
Uncle Hastings gives a recommendation for a communications consultant and a team building, sort of some exercises you guys could do.
Okay, so we're waiting half an hour.
Army, you know. All right, you wait a half an hour.
Just so you all had the visual, Nubin was actually like running over to Gellin to punch him again, but then got called off by Mary to wait 30 minutes.
Ah, Mary. Such a very responsible
Do
person.
whatever you want, because I mean, this is getting a bit ridiculous for me. I'll just stand here and watch. Here's some berries if you want them.
I made 10.
There's 9 left. Well, it says up to 10. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mary, I think we are making choices that maybe don't work well with you, huh?
That's a really good
the
rope.
fewer amount of times we bashed people out unconscious, I mean that's a good goal, right? Let's try to do it as few times as possible.
Yes, maybe you are correct.
All right, so
fun.
let's just roll that one for. I'm not gonna do this the whole unless there's an interesting, pinch point here. I don't want to just keep doing this over and over, but 'cause that will get dreadful.
Yeah, I agree.
And considering that Noobs hits on a 5
Yeah.
and takes 2 attacks around.
Yeah, I'm looking for a nat 1 to give him an opportunity. Well, that is different.
Then
It
a
was
nat
Gellin.
1.
No, it was a crit hit.
Nubin, you were supposed to hold back, eh?
Roll your damage.
I'm afraid.
Did you wait for him to wake up, or were you punching him? You were punching him early.
No, I was.
No, we gave him a
Oh, give him a good berry. You
Come
gave him a good berry.
on.
Okay.
It makes no
right.
functional
Don't make
difference.
this
Either he's
up.
at 1 or he's
This is
at 1.
already more difficult than it needs to be, guys.
I never actually upped his hit points to his actual level. So I was like, oh, you just killed him. But there's no way a rogue of his level only has 17 hit points, so I clearly messed something up on the sheet here. Alright. He goes back down. I'm going to roll it. You guys will know what it is, but unless one of you does a med check to see it, he's out for 4 hours.
I'll do a medicine check when I get back from making this burger for myself.
That's fine. So I'm going to say you guys land, and it's late afternoon in Neildra. Holy crap, I did not think to bring this map up and ready to go for you guys. 1 second. I have all these other ones ready to go in case we need them.
Now I want to know what you thought we were going to do. It's something that intrigues me. I didn't think you were going to do that. That's the only thing I thought we were going to do.
Oh, no, no, no. I said
The
I
other
didn't. I
options.
said I didn't think to upload the map. This is no. You were. I knew you were going to Neildra. I just forgot to upload the map. Okay. So, are you guys? Can you see this map? This map is visible to everybody,
Yep.
right? Even
Mhm.
without your tokens.
Oh yeah, this is Boner Reach map. We remember
Yep.
this one.
A boner each.
We have a boner each.
I
Uh,
forgot about Boner Reach.
I did too. I'm gonna
Vela probably didn't.
I'm gonna put a
And
rogue's
Countful.
token down, and it's right here. I'm gonna make Robes' token usable by everybody. uh, all players, owner. All
So
right.
as we land, I think I'm going to suggest, since there is somebody that is a traitor in the king's court, I kind of would like to try to disguise myself as Galen again, just to be a decoy. And maybe if you could take our captives to the king subtly, then, I don't
Uh,
know, but maybe we should have like some of you go directly to the king with the captives, and then I could be a fake Galen just
right.
to see if I can pull out.
He snaps his fingers and he gets some manacles, and he puts them on you, but they are not completely fastened. So
Okay,
you're manacled. Then he gets a ship sail out and he places it over them, and he dismisses the rest of the crew. Haiti is his trusted first mate. Dominican is not that great. Dominican Republic just sort of hang around. People remember him second to Haiti. But Haiti comes in and helps, makes it look like they're dead bodies. And so it looks like people who are lost. And so you look like Gellin, and the other
okay,
two look like corpses that are being taken for. He's like, so this is unfortunately not an unknown circumstance. From time to time, we lose a soldier and we wrap them in sailcloth and
oops. I didn't mean to do wild shape. I meant to do
oh,
disguise self. I'm
no,
sorry. I'm
no
really
worries.
having a hard time here.
It,
And
don't
just in
think of that
case
as
it
an
wasn't
attack.
clear, at some point I telepathetically told Elva
Yeah,
about
I'm
that.
glad you said that because I was gonna suggest updating poor
Okay.
Elva so she knew what was going on.
All right, so everybody knows that there's the potential of a traitor, and Uncle Hastings, again, I don't know who it is, and I'm not even certain that there is one, but this is highly irregular and smells bad to me. One of the things that I would like to do is actually walk in and ask, perhaps before, maybe as you wait outside. This is just occurring to me now, but what if I went in and asked with, um, hmm, as you waited outside, if anybody had heard from you yet?
That's fun. You should do that. I like that a lot.
I
I'm
like
really
that
happy you
plan,
came
eh?
up with it.
And then if they say no,
A little
and
bit Rose here, a little bit Cheech Marin. I'm not sure.
she could get she could get Tony into a Warbler game with the other brother. Be Cheech and Tommy there. Uh, anyway,
Really didn't know about that, brother.
so um, if that is agreeable to you, I wish I'd thought of this before you assumed Gillen's form. It might have been interesting to have you as like one of my shipmates in there with me, but
I'm sorry. I
uh,
put it out there as a suggestion, and all of a sudden it seemed like it was happening.
no,
So
no, it's I didn't. No, I'm apologizing to you. I didn't think of it. I personally did not even think of this as a thing until just now. Um, so all right, very well. Let's go. So but how does anybody gonna stay with the bodies of the prisoners then? And who's going with who?
I certainly can, unless you feel I should be somewhere else. I'm happy to stay with them.
I
I
should
mean,
probably stay here
Well,
with robes, just in
so
case we need to dimension door them away.
I guess I'm not understanding the plan, which because my thought was just to be a distraction, Gellin, while you guys took the prisoners where they were supposed to be. But now it sounds like Hastings wants to go in and talk to the king first. I'm not understanding what's happening right now
Just
or
talk
where
to
people
anybody.
are.
Well, you guys can do whatever. Hastings is suggesting perhaps you could find out if there was a liar in the midst. If he walks in to ask if anyone has heard from you all, and everyone says no, clearly that's a lie, and then he would know perhaps a little bit more about who the traitor was.
I think you being Gellin is still valuable. Like, you walk around town, just do your thing. We'll take care of the castle time. You walk around and kind of glean what
Right.
information you can glean. That's still,
There
I think,
is
still very worthwhile.
there is a potential downside to that. Gellin Primewater is extremely wanted in this town, and we can't get the word out to all the guards that you are not him.
We don't want to because there might be a traitor in the guards.
If you are walking around town as Gellin,
Already,
you are walking around as a wanted man.
already has been
as a
established.
target.
Only the upper echelon know about
Okay.
the mission. Yeah, the guard. Well, no, I
So
mean,
you stay in boner
So-
each.
no, I mean, Ed, you're right. Like the guards would all think it's a wanted person. They would
All
not.
of the
Well,
guards,
are they like
the
on
guards in
shoot to
town know that.
kill? Right, I know that. That's why I mean, that was partly why I suggested it to see what kind of reaction, like if they would.
Yeah, I wish I
But
had.
if
I
it's
wish
like
I
shoot
had
to
said that. I was
kill,
like, oh, this would be an interesting thing for him to say, but I shouldn't have said it.
No, I think it's good. I think it's a good plan, and I think you just keep doing what you're planning to do.
the
Like,
only thing
nothing about your plan has to change based on
well, but
Hastings' idea.
so I would argue from a different perspective on this, though, because we were sent to get Gellin, not Colonel Hastings.
We
So
were
we
not
should be
actually
the
sent to
ones-
get Gellin. That was a side mission.
It's true.
Our job
True.
was to find out what the giants were up to.
Well, we drag in Gellin. Hey, we found what the giants were up to.
well, I think we were supposed to find out what they wanted, but we also were looking to get. I don't know if the king told us to, but we've been trying to get Gellin for like 3
Ever.
years. Yeah. So, I mean, it may not have been the king's mission, but it was
Well, I don't think
definitely a
we did
mission.
anything wrong by bringing him in. That just wasn't our assignment.
That is vague. That is roughly fair. Yeah, the assignment was to find out what the giants were doing. If you found Gellin Primewater, he is wanted, and you can bring him in. That was secondary. It was mostly please stop the
Right.
attacks on the cities and find out what the hell they're doing.
True.
So, but you guys have had the mission of finding him forever. So, that mission you guys have decided you wanted.
Well,
to
and
know.
for some reason I thought like, yeah, because he is a wanted man, we were supposed to bring him in, right? Like, I mean,
I don't think I think none of you would be under the impression that the king's going to be bummed with your decision to bring him in. Nobody's going to think this is a bad idea. So, or at least, you guys coming back with Gellin and Forshade, not going to bum anybody out, you think. Because it was a secondary mission. So,
So you're going in as Hastings. Hastings is asking if we've been seen. If somebody says yes, that gives us a clue about the traitor. If nobody says anything, or whatever, we glean what we glean from whatever Hastings. That's mission. That's option. That's mode 1. Mode 2, not separate but not contradictory, is Gellin in the city or around the guards ish, hoping that one of them will be like, oh, there's Gellin. I need to find out why he's here. And then mode 3 is we bring Gellin and Forshade to the king. those are three things that are happening. They don't all necessarily need to interact with one another or change the plan from anything. It's just that Hastings is going in as his own, and we're going in without Mary. But that's it, right?
I'm
Well,
just
somebody has to stay back and guard the captives too.
The captives are coming with us to the king, though. Like, we're staying with the captives. Hastings is going to the king. Mary is going meandering.
I'm wondering what you're hoping to gain from Mary wandering around.
Yeah, I
As
mean, it
I
made
don't
sense
see
when I
that.
suggested it, but then the plan completely changed, and so now I don't really
I
know what
thought
what good
Mary
it would
wandering
do.
around was in an effort to get people who might spot her and be like, "What are you doing? Why are you here?" So we could find out the informant chain that Gellin had connections to. That was what I thought the whole point
Yeah,
was.
I don't know what the point is anymore. Like when I suggested it, I just was thinking, if I looked like Ellen and and you guys had covered the captives, that it would be you'd be able to get the captives where they needed to be without being seen. But now that there's like Hastings going to the king, and like I don't know if walking around the city, I don't even know if what a wanted man means. Are they going to shoot on sight? Like I don't feel like I had enough information to suggest beyond, hey, I could be a decoy. What do you guys think? And then things kind of went in different directions. So I have already done the disguise self. So if it would be useful, I can do something. But I don't. I'm very confused into what the plan is anymore. So I feel like it's going in two or three different directions.
Well, maybe until we know. Well, sorry, I was doing Robespierre, and I meant to do Hastings. Um, uh, well, perhaps having you there, maybe we bring you in front of the king and say this is Gellin that was found, and that we did not, we do not lie and say we did not get Porshade right away. We just say we managed to capture Gellin, and then see if that also tells us anything.
Which was kind of what I like with the
Yeah,
manacles and everything.
yeah.
Instead of walking around town, to be brought in as like, hey,
This is Gellin.
Yeah,
captured, right? And then
And
you
then
guys get the actual
the other ones
captive.
are being masqueraded as sailors who went down, who died in the line of duty.
yeah. That
So
the whole found and delivering her as Gellin was what I thought we were doing too. That's
Right.
the direction I thought we were headed.
but I mean, I don't that was just a suggestion. I don't know if you guys have other ideas. I just thought getting the captives where they need to be as quickly as possible, because they're going to wake up, you know. So
All right. Well then,
Sounds good.
all right. So we're taking them to. We'll take Mary as Gellin. The rest of you will stay, and then I will say, my troops were able to find Gellin. He was wandering, you know, and then bring him. Have you heard from the rest, and then see what is said. The rest of you will wait outside where you can hear. Does that make sense?
does that make sense? I mean,
I
you
don't know.
guys think
I mean, I know.
But would we be carting dead bodies around with us
Well,
to
see,
do that?
that's the biggest flaw in the plan right now. Is if you have to trust these unconscious building beings to be with his guys. So maybe somebody doesn't want that to happen, and so some of you might go with them. And so
Why
he's
don't
like,
we bring? Why don't we have Uncle Hastings go get the king, and bring the king to the ship, and do everything there? That way, the bodies can stay covered on the ship. No one else sees them. Mary still looks like Gellin, quote unquote bound, and maybe we put a gag too, just to like we were really concerned that it's Gellin, and we see if we make sure the king is on the up and up before we do anything else.
if I'm gonna bring the king, he will have an entourage anyway. He will not come out here alone. So, I mean, I think there's wisdom in your plan, but I don't think it will be the king alone anyway. I think
he did meet with us alone previously. Perhaps we could convince him to have his entourage at the loading deck or on the plank or something. And you could express to him that we have information that is very sensitive, and
Mm.
for him to determine where it goes beyond him.
Okay. I will try to do that. He's gonna actually, with your leave, he's going to go and try to bring the king to the ship. Then, how long can you do your disguise self for?
Yeah, I think it's only an hour.
Oh, yeah, it'll be enough time. It'll be enough time. You probably only have like 20 minutes of being
Yeah.
disguised with the king, but um, all right. So, uh, is there anything you guys want to do while he has left the ship and is going to go try to get the king to the tether point of the turkey run? If not, that's cool. We can elapse this time, and uh, there's a bit of fanfare as a palanquin is brought. You know, I don't want him on a palanquin. He's too much of a man of action. He comes on a horse, uh, and so there are guards, and it takes a little bit of time for him to get there, but also for this to all be rustled up. So uh, the king and eventually there's a kind of a winding sort of gangplank up the spire to where the airship is tethered, and uh, he walks the king up, and the entourage stays at the halfway point up this winding circular staircase. Um, and then they board the ship, and you are in the presence of King Cumbertus Scotti, and uh, Uncle Hastings, welcomes him onto the ship formally, and then Cumbertus Scotti sort of, I was told there was important information to be determined, and that Gellin Primewater had been captured, and he looks over and sees bound and gagged Gellin. What's all this about then? And he looks over at Hastings, and Hastings, well, I guess my question is, did you authorize me to pick up these adventurers? And the king said, of course, that was the plan. I was not given that order. I intercepted that order. I don't want to do a whole lot of RP with myself. That's the worst. Um, it's not fun for you guys. It's not fun for me. So as it comes out, the king kind of comes clear. Like it's clear the king was not aware that there had been a contact. So
Someone else had been ordered.
someone else someone else diverted that order without informing the king. And in fact, you all, I'm not going to make an insight check, but he is somewhat surprised to see you back already. So, the king, uh,
So he may not have even been told that we radioed back.
in fact, that comes out very quickly that he was unaware that you radioed back at all.
And who does our stone go to?
Your stone goes to Spymaster Nightshade.
Sounds a lot like
Such a
Foreshade.
trustworthy name.
Her name is, I wrote it down in here. Bawanda Nightshaper, not Nightshade, sorry.
With a name like that, I should have known, eh?
Well, I think Robes would point out that he put a dream spell on her, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then she was super resistant to it.
Yep.
Ah, that crafty bitch.
Eh? So that's your suspicion right now, is that if not a traitor, definitely compromised. At least it seems that way on the face of things right now. The Banwunda Night Shaper sent somebody else to pick you up, or was intending to. King is furious, uh, and begins having a bit of a, if you can't trust your spy master, somebody who is known for their art of deceit and their ability to deceive others, who can you trust? I, of
Are
course,
you
get the
sure?
irony.
Are we? I feel like maybe we should give her a little bit of an opportunity to defend herself.
Certainly. Certainly. I have. I've known. I think Banwunda is much older than I. She served my father.
Did we? I apologize that I don't remember, but did Robes actually tell Night Shaper that we had Gellin?
I
Or
don't.
did he just tell her that we needed our lift back?
I think you guys just asked for an airlift.
Yeah.
So she might not be in cahoots, or there might not be anybody in cahoots with Gellin necessarily, unless that traitor is back still and saw us leave with Gellin.
Well, then it would be Chad.
Or somebody who was. There wasn't anybody there with the giants, though, were there?
Well, giants.
Hmm.
There certainly were giants amongst them who could have the capacity to contact someone if they had a contact.
I don't know. They were pretty dumb.
You only saw the dumb ones, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with one notable exception. The Cloud Giant, who warned us that we were meddling in affairs.
I wasn't there for that.
I was in a bag, and if Bagman existed in this thing, man, I would have brought that in for that.
Nice.
Sorry.
Feel fingers wrap around your ankle from within the bag.
Oh, it's awesome. Well, Kimbertus Kadi says, I have investigations to conduct. Is there anything that you wish me to know? Is there any, because you have not revealed, and neither has Hastings, because he is holding his tongue, that you have Gellin, and that has not been revealed yet.
Well,
Well, he's
Gellin's
seen.
standing
We
over
can't
there,
see
bound
anyone?
and gagged.
Well, he knows that Gellin's been bagged. Well, at least he believes
We
Gellin.
haven't. We haven't shown him that that's not Gellin.
Right.
Nubin's going to ask the king if he has a spellcaster or wizard or some sort of sorcerer that would be able to had something that could prevent someone like Gellin from being able to cast a spell at all. If there was some sort of, like, I don't know, collar,
An anti-magic field or device.
right? And ask if there was a better way to secure a magic user, a high level magic user.
And or a highly magical device. Something that can nullify it. Even if just for a time.
I myself am not aware of any such device, but I mean, kinging has other responsibilities, but I do have um, a trusted advisor in the arcane arts. I have kept her out of much of this on purpose, but I could inquire as to whether or not such a device, and sort of an anti-magic field generator, either could be procured or if we have one. Uh,
Or two.
well, I'm certain we don't have two.
Well, if it's one field that could perhaps encapsulate an entire cell, that would be sufficient.
Indeed.
Because Your Majesty, Gellin did not come alone.
Did not come here alone?
His companion, we apprehended her as well.
And where is she currently?
I will look to the
Dead.
rest of the group.
Mary, you know you have about like 10 minutes left on your disguise self. I mean, you can
We
let
killed
it.
her.
You can let it ride, but
We killed her.
you killed her. Okay, well, I did
We
say
had no choice.
I did say dead or alive. I was hoping to get some information. Were you able to learn anything about the giant's motives while you were there? Are these attacks going to cease?
We didn't really hear
Very
anything
much
like that, did we?
I don't know that it behooves us to withhold anything at this point, but I leave it to all of you.
I don't think they're going to attack anymore. No, I don't think they're going to stop attacking, is what I meant to say. Sorry.
Those are very different answers. I appreciate the clarification.
It didn't seem to be in a rush to not be attacking you.
It seemed as though there was a larger plan at work, and that Gellin and Foreshade were working together with the giants, not necessarily leading the giants.
Mm.
Hmm.
It seemed that there was someone higher up the chain.
They certainly had a deal with a giant, and they received payment in the form of a giant-slaying sword.
Which we thought was very funny and ironic.
A giant slaying sword could be of great benefit to the kingdom of Gilland.
Well, it is currently wielded by someone in the service to the kingdom.
And, you know, if Winston were here, we would be like, that's me! You're talking about me!
That sounds like
That's
Robes.
me.
Yeah.
That's me. I am wielding the sword.
And now have a sword and a rod.
Multiple swords. Only one rod.
So the king then is... So you have... Gellin can be questioned then. And he's... Are you... did you guys gag, Mary?
That's told, so I've been sitting here saying nothing.
Okay.
So
We are wondering. Nope, wrong voice. I'm just wondering if we're a little concerned about spies. Who will be questioning if you're not sure that your spy master is trustworthy, who's going to question Gellin?
Well, I was actually hoping you would do it. I would be present.
Okay. Do you have any trustworthy, really buff people who can sit on them, maybe? Or dispellers?
Your Highness, if you plan to be there, having a magical dampening device or room will be necessary. And Nuben's going to kind of inch over, realizing that Mary is still bound and gagged, and kind of take off the gag and take off the manacles.
Oh. Are you
doing?
Going to question her now? Him now?
Well, she's about to turn back anyway.
Yeah, you have about...
Noob's like looking at his watch, and he's like, well,
just gonna wild shape into a spider.
Oh,
and
go on.
apparently disappear. I don't want to just become me, and I don't know what the party is really. I don't know the plan, so I'm just gonna turn
We
into a tiny
have
spider and
we
crawl.
have no plan.
I'm confused, and Mary's
Um,
confused. So
Your Highness, that was not
what
Gellin Prime
she's
Water.
gonna do?
We apologize for the ruse, but we didn't know who we can trust and who we can't.
Ah, I see. And where is Gillen Prime Water then?
I'll go ahead and pull the sails off of Gellin and Foreshade.
Are they? So they are both dead.
They are both alive for now. It was not a lie that she was killed. We
Yeah,
expended
you owe
significant
me
resources to resurrect her, but we needed to
yeah.
kill her to remove a magical item that she was bound to.
Yeah, I'd really like reimbursement for 300 gold pieces worth of diamond dust, please. Thank you. Carry on.
Okay. I'm very confused, but I understand your discretion. He leads over to Hastings. Um, and who was the false Gellin? Um, and he says, "Well, I would. That was my niece. I'm very sorry, Your Highness, but there were only 5 of us who knew, and we needed to make sure." And no, he claps him on the back. No, quite right, quite right.
We were uncertain who you might bring up the gangplank with you, and so we played it close to the chest.
Understood. When can they be woken? You said only under an anti-magic field. I don't know that. Now the king has a southern fried accent. Sorry. The, you're saying they can only be woken.
I'll say.
I'm sorry, but you say they can only be woken up under an anti-magic field. You say.
A chicken hawk.
Oh, you beat me. I was like, are you warriors? Or are you chicken hawks? Anyway, um, the no,
Or if your court wizard has the capacity to counter magic, then that might be sufficient if we do them one at a time. But if a spell is cast, it needs to be countered.
What would be really nice, though, is if you would wait like 8 hours to work with them.
Ed,
Just
this
so.
is a little off aside, but we had talked about counterspell last time because Robespierre has it. But
Oh,
the conclusion was this is an item, and so it's not spell casting. And so Elva was present during that discussion. So I just thought I
I
would
see.
fill you in there. Yeah. So
Disagree with
that
that,
is
but
why,
if that's our precedent, that's our
well,
precedent.
that's what we were told. And that's why we've been
Yep.
so careful about knocking them out because
The
it's
decision was
apparently
a magic item
a
is not a spell
spell.
cast. You cannot counter an item. And
And
if
so
you
we
may
have
run it that
no
way, but
way
I
of
never have and
blocking them.
never will. So that's just put that out there right now. A magic item
Even
is.
though the item says on it allows you to cast
Yep. No.
X.
If you're using an item, it is a spell. It is an item use, not a spell cast, and that is my ruling, and it has always been even back to 1E. So if it's an item, it's not a spell cast.
That
As I
gives a little
said, I
context.
disagree, but I will stand by the precedent.
All right.
But the reason why I wanted to give you that just was because that's why we've been knocking them out
It's
repeatedly. We're
it's
not
also
trying
the
to be
way things are going in the future too. So everybody should just settle up because that's what 6E is going to be anyway. Is all intents and purposes. But yeah, that's because that's how all the monsters are going now too. So yeah, there will be no counterspelling of items. For me anyway. I just it gets into counterspell battle, and I've never liked it, and I'm not gonna. That's my homebrew rule. So uh, there we go.
yeah, so that's why we've been continually knocking them out because we know no way to keep them from, being able to at least Gellin at this point, at the time before Force Shade 2. But now maybe not so much her, but definitely him, because we can't restrain him. We don't have any anti magic. We can't dispel the item. We can't counterspell any spells. And so that's why we've been using such brute force tactics.
Also,
And Elva would know that. I just,
and
I just wanted.
also, I mean, you don't know what the item is. The item might be divine, and it might have the components of Dimension Door, but not be the casting of Dimension Door. So to put that out there anyway. So
So what's the next play?
So I think what I'd really like is if we could get a nap, and maybe your crew could take on guarding them for a while. That'd be really helpful. King.
I mean, I'm a spider, but you
No?
guys had continually said they need to be put in a containment field, essentially. So I think that's the next step, is getting them somewhere where they can't escape. I mean, if we leave these guys with the guards and sleep, they're, all our effort is for nothing if they just wake up and leave. So, right?
Well, yeah, I
Yeah.
assumed that's what I was implying that they would follow the same path that we had done when I asked him to take over their supervision. Paul, you specifically.
hmm and the only reason I'm not saying anything is because the king is looking over and going, well, you just said we don't trust anybody outside of the 5 circles, so who do you want me to ask?
People in the ship?
I
I don't
I
know.
do feel that your court wizard is safe because, as you say, you've intentionally kept her out of this, so she doesn't know about it, and therefore couldn't have betrayed you about it.
And if she's not sure why we need a cell that dampens magic use, she could just be creating a cell that dampens magic use.
Yeah, there should be no reason for her to need to know beyond your order that it's necessary.
Eighth level spell. So
What's an 8th level spell?
anti-magic field.
Anti-magic field.
Yeah.
Mm.
That means they have to have a 16th level wizard on retainer.
He's the king.
He's a king.
He does not have a
Or they need a scroll of it.
Mm-hmm. It's possible. It's possible. I will, but he's not gonna be able to do that immediately. Like he doesn't know that they have one. They don't have one sitting in the middle of the dungeon. Like they don't have an anti-magic dungeon cell. So he will.
He should. Sounds like there's some real money in that. Maybe we should start selling them, guys.
None of you can cast it. It's too high level. And you don't have a wizard either. I think that's a wizard only spell.
My spell list is wizard, but I can't get to that level.
Yeah. I mean, that is a major spell. So there are magic items that do it, but they are also, I believe, like very rare.
The alternative is simply that we continue to do what we're doing, or that we have our rest and then kill Gullen and take the item from him, and from there.
Do we need to keep them alive?
I mean, you guys want to ask them questions, right?
We gain nothing by killing them other than knowing that this chapter is closed. There is information that could be gained from.
More than 5 questions worth?
I don't know.
Nice. I like where you're going with that. It's a great idea.
My limited experience with that magic, however, is that they are not required to be truthful.
They're not required. Well, I mean, I could cast Zone of Truth, but they're not required to answer in Zone of Truth.
Right.
True. If
So-
they are alive, we have leverage. If they're dead, we don't.
I mean, I've got a pretty good connection with Dalt.
What leverage? Against who?
Well, if they're alive, we can play to insecurities, or we can offer them something, or we can give them reason to hope that there's a future. If they're dead, what is there?
I think Robespierre would chime in.
Happiness.
I think Robespierre would chime in with Elva here, especially defending Gellin.
Right. Definitely.
I don't know what he would say, but I don't think he would
Well,
stay silent if they were talking about killing him.
you're correct. Yeah, I think that's fair too. He would probably even make a play for chiming in also on the logic of we only get 5 questions this way. I mean, we can keep casting it over and over again, I suppose, but
You can't. There's a reset period after they've been
yeah, it's like
cast on
24
once.
hours, right, or something. I
Well,
don't.
maybe we
I'm
need to
thinking
start
back to
from the
Critical Role where they
perspective of
cast it on that
saying,
one person like 8 times. But
maybe we need to
Critical Role
start from maybe we need to start from a perspective of what would we ask them if they were awake? Because really all I would do is punch him in the face. I have no desire to get any information from him.
Uncle Hastings
They
and,
know-
and the King are suggesting everybody take everybody below deck, and everybody just stays below deck with the bodies at this point. So
They know something about what the giants are up to. They were at least involved to some degree. So they could give us information on that.
Okay, what question would you ask?
and the king was like, and that is the line of questioning I am most concerned with.
I would ask them what they know about what the giants are doing. I don't know the specific question, but that one will be the starting point.
Sounds good to me. I just want to kill them. So if we could get this over with, that would be great. Because I really don't like him, and I don't think he deserves to be on the earth anymore, because he only brings bad things.
So I'll stop being a spider because I feel like that's not very helpful. I just didn't want to turn into me in front of everybody. But when Elva, you said before, the other option, if the magic to create an anti-magic field is too strong, Revivify isn't all that strong. Is there anybody else in the city that can cast it? Because if we get this item off of Gellin, he's not as likely to be able to get away. That might be a faster solution. I mean, then technically we do get to kill him, Bela, but we'd have to bring him back.
Should also bear in mind, and I don't know how much truth there is to this, but I believe that the spirit has to be willing to return.
Oh.
A person who has been repeatedly knocked out and kept in captivity might find death a release, and the spirit may not wish to return.
That's a fair point.
So killing him may be a one and done.
Well, then that might not be something we want to risk. I just don't really like sitting here every 2 hours, knocking them out and bringing them back. But
it is distasteful.
There is no other solution that is possible, even in this whole city of Neodral, other than killing him. So
we also run the risk if we wake him up to ask him questions that assumes that he's no longer gagged and can utter any magical phrase he chooses.
Well, that's just it. That's what
he's less magical than she is. Isn't that true?
He is, but he's wearing this thing,
yes,
and I'll point to my ankle, and I don't know what it's fully capable of. And that's
well, have we tried removing the limb it's attached to?
We did talk about it. We discussed the idea that it would stay attuned to him, because the limb is not like, it's attuned to him.
It's attuned to his soul, not his arm, apparently, right?
Yeah, that's how I described it.
Let's remove the arm and burn it and see what happens.
Well, the item would still be attuned to him. It just wouldn't be cinching into his skin. So he'd still have all the same benefits and
does he have to touch to activate it? What do you think?
Elva,
I have to hold my sword to ignite it. Is it different?
I might need some clarification on what distasteful would be. You're talking about
what's the difference between repeatedly knocking him unconscious or removing a limb? We're torturing the man either way.
Yeah, there's nothing tasteful about this anymore.
At least this might be a one and done, and we don't continue to beat him.
We could just kill him. That would be one and done.
I would prefer that, but we don't gain anything. Killing
Right.
him is more humane than what we're doing to him now.
I'm sorry, y'all. I've given all the ideas I have, and none of them are going to be useful. But this whole endeavor is just very unpleasant. I don't have anything else to say. Apparently, there's no solution that's going to not be distasteful. I'm just afraid no matter what we do, he's going to get away anyway.
Then kill him and be done with it, and we'll go back to square one with the giants.
But Robespierre wouldn't let us just do
At least this door will then be closed.
Let's at least talk to him first, huh?
Well, as soon as
we don't have a way to.
He's going to leave, Robespierre. You know that. We talked about that.
We don't have a way to talk to him without him being able to activate this item.
Well, King,
With
do you have
the
300?
The dimension door principle came into effect when the three were next to each other.
King, do you have 300 gold pieces worth of diamond dust?
Certainly not on me, but that definitely could be obtained without any trouble.
Let's just do the same thing to him that we did to Foreshade.
It runs the risk of him not wishing to return.
Well, if you have a plan, Elva, I'm happy to do it.
I don't.
Oh, okay.
I just think that
it just seems like every plan isn't good.
I don't feel that
there is no.
I don't feel comfortable continuing to torture the man.
Do you feel comfortable killing him?
Sure. Then there's no further suffering. What we're doing now is every hour we're inflicting pain on him unnecessarily.
Well, it is necessary. The options are we inflict pain so that he can stay alive, so that we can question him in some heretofore unknown way, or we kill him.
I feel
and
differently
revivify
than you
him
then,
to remove the item.
Life in pain doesn't seem worth it.
Well, I don't want to keep him in pain for.
So I'm not sure. This is out of character, but I'm not sure where the idea that they have to be willing to come back comes from. Like, it's not in the spell description of Revivify. Is that in lore?
It's what Elva said.
It's what Elva said.
Who said?
It's a critical role homebrew rule. So
I
said it's what Elva said.
Yeah.
And even when I said it, I said I don't know that this is true, but I believe
it.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure because I wasn't aware of that. So that's what Elva said.
Yeah. It's
we don't know.
You don't know. Because
Elva is not a divine spellcaster.
Right.
Wouldn't know anything about it.
Okay. Got it.
But Vela is. I mean,
I feel like we need to phone a friend and get what Winston has to say about all this.
I know that's the other part, guys, that I'm just not comfortable making decisions that involve other people who aren't present. I mean, Mary doesn't have a vested interest in Gellin. She has a distaste for torture, but is very concerned about. I mean, Mary and Nubin have been chasing this guy from the beginning, and to have him just get away again would be.
And I'll tell you where I'm hung up, and this is not Nubin. This is Tony story kind of thing. I'm having a hard time with the idea that a king of a land this size doesn't have a 16th level spellcaster who can cast this. Personally, I mean, to me, like, you're the king. You got to know somebody. Otherwise, and this is why it's a problem, how could you ever bring a high-level wizard or a wizard at all, anyone with Dimension Door, how could you ever bring them to justice?
If you are a 16th level wizard, are you working for a king?
If you believed in the cause, I would think so.
Also, if you look at a map of Greyhawk, Keelan is very, very tiny.
Well, so I mean, what you're at, the question that you just asked is at the heart of Nubin, though. I'm not.
You guys are.
I'm here
you guys,
because it seemed like the right thing to do.
Let-
That's what I would think a wizard would do.
let me put it this way: you guys being 11th level, you are extraordinary, extraordinary. So just to put that out there.
And that is the other part. Like I don't necessarily understand that much about D&D to get it either. So
Most people don't get past 10th level. and that most games wrap up by 12th. So like a 16th level wizard is crazy cakes. They're not hanging out in the capital. Like they're hanging out in a tower, and the king goes to them and asks them and pays them an exorbitant amount of money to do stuff for them.
So you're saying there's a chance.
You're saying it because at when you can cast a 9th level spell, you can alter reality. Like wish can change the entire scope of the world. So it's that level that's why I'm saying it's 8th level. Maybe 6-7 people on the continent. Maybe.
And the way that I was thinking about it is, it's only 4 levels higher than we are.
Yeah, you guys are 12th, right? Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like, we can't be the supreme beings in this universe.
You're getting pretty darn close.
Nubin would never ever think that.
Yeah, I know. So your incredulity is certainly an RP thing, but like not everybody. Most people are walking around level 0. Like the 99% of the people you're running into are level 0. The guards are level 1, level 2. And the only reason you have a trouble with guards is there's like 90 of them and one of you.
Well, the only reason we have trouble with guards is that we aren't willing to just murder them.
Also true. And sometimes you're drunk. So
although I do have to say this whole conversation is like going to change Nubin, because
even drunk,
if we
Elva
can't
probably
hold them,
could have won that fight
dead.
all at disadvantage.
yes, for sure. For sure you could have. I just was saying, like, from an RP point of view, you were drunk and like, I'm just kidding. Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean,
no,
Elva wasn't going to have that fight.
There is no army person that is a threat to any of you. There is no... There's not even, like, Thieves Guild, high-ranking people. There's none of those people are a threat to you. You guys are at... Okay, so here's a great Dungeons & Dragons thing. 1 to 5 is tier 1, and it's basically you're like the hero of your region. Levels 5 to 10, you're kind of the hero of the kingdom.
Of the nation.
So you guys are already a little past that now. And 10 to 15...
We're tier 3.
You're in tier 3.
Yeah.
Is hero of the world. And then 15 to 20 is hero of the multiverse. So just to put this into perspective, you guys are already at the level of, like, major threats. And so when I said the giants were wandering through, that wasn't a little piddly threat. Lots of commoners got their asses, like, there's a lot of dead people. Lots of dead people. And the army got their shit handed to them. So you guys are the best hope for them. And you've been wandering around the South Seas for the last couple of weeks while they've been like, what the hell, where did these guys go? And you were, on Firewatch Island in the styes doing what you wanted to do, which is totally... I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying this is how the kingdom's perspective is. Hey, there was those badasses, and that's why they sent Hastings to find you. So, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So,
Nubin, what did you say this was changing about your conversation? Or about your future?
This whole conversation changes everything about how Nubin goes into a battle.
Oh yeah, if you've been
There's
playing...
no reason to save anybody. Like, if they are against us, they should die.
Oh, shit. Nubin got dark.
Well, but he's chaotic neutral. Like, if there is no way to hold this person, if there is no way to ensure that they are not going to go after anybody else in the future, or not going to just escape and continue their plan that we just potentially foiled, why would I not kill him?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. we don't have a way to hold him, we might as well kill him and at least get this thing off his wrist.
And
And
we at
then
least get
we
the
can bring
answers
him
to 5
back.
questions. Yeah.
Let's-
Well, we
but-
can bring him back, and if he doesn't come back for some reason, which has never happened before, then we get the 5 questions when we commune.
I think that's
You
a
said-
best bet.
You said that from your knowledge, the ability to dimension door with the artifact only occurred when 3 of them were in proximity. Correct?
So what I was told as when I put this bracelet on is as they've been in the presence of each other, they level up.
Mm-hmm.
So now 3 of them have been in presence of each other. So now they've leveled up to be able to do.
That's
What
true.
happens
So
if
we
you
haven't
go
been told
away
if they
from it?
level down.
I did.
We did
Yep.
try to step away, and that didn't seem to do anything. I intentionally last time
Okay.
moved away, and what I was told was once they've gotten that energy, they have it. Mine don't have it yet, but Winston's or Robespierre's and we presume Gellen's,
And Gellens.
yeah, have it. That was the
Yes.
description
Yes.
that I had.
Yes.
Then I think we kill him.
The king
And
the king is actually watching
revivify
you guys having this conversation, and he just shrugs. I actually leave him in your hands. I will. Your wisdom with this man is greater than mine. He has been nothing but a blight on the country. He would be hanged anyway. Whatever service he can provide to us in ending the threat of the giants,
With all due respect, Your Highness, he would never be hanged. He would be out of your prison tomorrow.
well,
A man of his ability would not be held long enough to be
That's
hanged.
exactly the problem. You're right, Elva.
I do appreciate, Mr. Selva, I do appreciate your point of view. I am speaking, I guess, on some level metaphorically. His life is forfeit either way, as far as the judgment of the king is concerned.
And that is why we need to make a decision.
And I am here only as the sovereign of this land, but I defer to your judgment.
So here's a question then, a thought. What if instead of waking him up right now, we wake her up because she doesn't have her item anymore?
She is a spellcaster in her own right. She has not had the opportunity to prepare any spells. As a spellcaster myself, I know that if I don't take the time to prepare them, I'm very limited in what I can do.
She is pretty effed up.
We could try that. To wake her and question her.
I know this is going to sound like a terrible thing right at this moment, but I'm going to call for a bio break because I've had a lot of wine. And
I've been drinking water out of this, so that's interesting.
That is yeah. God, what is that, copper?
The top part is green screened.
The top is green. That's why it's not. There it is.
There it is. Is that a copper, like a copper?
Yeah. It's a glaze.
Glaze is the word I'm looking for. I've done pottery, but I don't. Now it's disappeared completely.
Yeah, I just sat it down.
But that copper's beautiful. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I'm gonna call, because of my own comfort, I'm gonna call for a bio break, and we'll return in a few minutes. Thanks for watching, Dawson.
Thanks, Dawson.
All right. We'll be right back. I'm going to put us on the RP scene because we are having conversation. We were having it offline. We're going to just bring it online right now about what to do. The players are deciding whether or not to question Gellin, who has still a thread of Lolth wrapped around him, but who the party knows Robespierre has sort of a father figure affinity to, and Foreshade, who no longer has a thread of Lolth wrapped around her, but is a spellcaster, and they're trying to decide whether or not they can do the same thing they did to Foreshade last time, which was kill her and revivify her immediately. And as this conversation has happened, the king has sent somebody to get 300 gold pieces worth of diamond dust at Vela's request. Regardless of what you decide to do, you had asked him if that was procurable, and he is getting it for you. He thinks it'll take roughly an hour or so to get that because he has the diamonds. He just doesn't have them in dust form because that's just not useful for a lot of people.
Boy,
We'll only have to torture these people a little longer.
So, but
this
you're all below.
Better advisors.
I think he's doing fine.
Need to have little pockets full of this shit just to be ready.
But he's not walking around with a 6th level cleric every day. So, like that's one of the things that I guess I should have probably said this like 3 years ago. One of the things that's important to me is that you guys are special. You guys are special. Not everybody can do this. Your bad guys are special too. So they rise, like they become revealed as higher level as well as you guys go up. But like you're special. You're not guards. You know, the guards aren't 3rd level. Some of them might be close.
I feel special.
Oh, I'm sorry. I haven't done a good job as a DM then. I'm sorry.
I don't feel tardy.
That's funny. I don't feel tardy. All right.
Somebody wanted to say hi.
I am just sitting here
Hello.
That animal head because of your green screen.
Yeah, but
you're holding a headless animal.
I'm sorry. I'm still struck by the fact that Ed made a Van Halen reference. I didn't see that coming. All right.
The dog is sticking its tongue out at you.
Yeah.
Because a Van Halen reference was made for Hot for Teacher. Anyway. But also, I just outed myself as having known it. All right.
I didn't actually. I thought it was from Hot Times at Ridgemont High.
No, that's Hot for Teacher by Van Halen. I have this note. Give me something to write.
I was misremembering. I thought it was. I thought it was Spicoli.
Yeah.
Shows how much attention I've paid to either Van Halen or Hot Times at Ridgemont High.
Ridgemont.
You guys are making me sad.
All right, we're moving on. You are in the below decks of the Turkey Run Mark III. You are there with Colonel Hastings Clark. His second in command, you only know as Haiti. You also know she has a twin brother named Dominican Republic. But Dominican Republic is not here. So it is you, Haiti.
They were conjoined.
I don't want to
a hurricane.
Oh, nope.
Oh, sadness.
Nope. There's Haiti, Colonel Hastings, Kim Kerberta Scotty, and the 5 of you. Plus, you have 2 unconscious people that are bound, I believe, and gagged, and unconscious and laying in front of you. And you're all debating what to do. King Kimberta Scotty has said, I trust in your judgment. I believe you know more than I, but I will witness what you do.
And you've made me more chaotic neutral.
Well, I'll put that in my... That was my Dear Diary moment for today.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Your Highness, I respect you immensely for being able to say such a thing. Often those in power are incapable of recognizing when others know better than they. I'm not saying you're correct, that we do know better.
Elva
But
wouldn't know. Elva wouldn't know this, but Meriwether definitely would, and perhaps Nubin would too, because Nubin is from the west side of the Good Hills. That uh, King Cumbertus Scotti is not a sit on the throne king, but is also really into being cool. So he's an arrogant bastard, but he's also held dying soldiers and knows the cost of war.
That's a good beer, by the way.
What is?
Arrogant Bastard. It's a
Yes,
good beer.
I have actually had it. Yeah, that is a good beer. But
that Road Brewery.
Yep.
he's not. He's still, he's a king. He's still a aristocratic fuck, but he does actually have a little bit of money where his mouth is.
I think we got that impression when we were like
Right.
trying to find a gift for him. Like, I remember that kind of coming up in conversation back then.
When Elva gave him a giant phallus.
He's still
Well, before that.
he's still a king, but as far as kings go, he's not the worst. Like, he's got a brain in his head, and he does actually think about the welfare of his people, and knows the cost of a life.
I've known many kings, although in the Feywild they have a kind of a different meaning.
So he has. He looks
They
at
can
all
be
the.
bounded in a nutshell and count themselves a king of infinite space. But they do have bad dreams.
I'm in a nutshell. How did I get in this crazy bloody big nut? Um. He says, if you are wishing to question the Drow woman, by all means. Or if you wish to wait for the diamond dust, we can do that too.
I'd say we question her.
She has spells. We don't have a counter spell.
We have
Yes, you do.
Robespierre.
You have Robespierre.
We don't actually have Robespierre.
He would cast.
But we do have him mechanically,
Yeah,
and he
and
will counterspell that shit.
he said play me as if. So yeah, I don't think you need to. I'm not saying that's the right way to do it. I'm just
I have
saying.
his sheet in front of me.
Yeah.
He said, play me like one of your French girls.
He did.
So
I have that note right here.
He would definitely, because Winston would love to counterspell something. So.
Yep.
okay,
He has the
so
spell slots.
so let's say we wake her up. What are we asking her?
What does she know about what the giants are doing?
Who's pulling the
Okay.
strings?
And the other question is, what do we have to offer as to why she should answer this?
Okay. So
I don't know the
that
answer
I
to
don't
that.
know. But
Because if we wake her up and she says, why should I answer you? You're just going to kill me.
that's
What do
true.
we say?
That's what we're going to do.
Then why should she answer us?
I don't know. I can't think of any reason why she would
Kill
answer us. That's why
her.
I don't think we should question her.
I think we should question her because I think that there's information to be gleaned, but I think we need to have something we can offer.
Breath.
Are we
But is
really
that
going
a
to let her
true
live,
offer?
though?
We don't know what she wants. Maybe that's part of our questioning. We don't even know who she is. We only met her while we were infiltrating a giant's base.
Then maybe the first question is, who are you?
She's going to say Foreshade and be a jerk about it.
Then we can knock her out and play this game as long as she'd like.
I would actually like to continue knocking her out for just a bit longer
I feel
Well,
less bad about the knocking her out thing if she's a shit about our questions.
while I nap so that I can cast Zone of Truth tomorrow. And if we decide that we want to use the Gaius, I can have it available to me. But I'm exhausted.
Um,
And exhaustion makes me crabby. And Crabby Vela doesn't ask good questions, nor does she cast good spells.
I'm just gonna hint out to you that Zone of Truth, of course, as you've already noted, they can refuse to answer,
Mm-hmm.
but also a high ability check will you won't necessarily you will know that they passed it and you've just waited to cast the spell for somebody who is very likely to pass your DC potentially.
Mostly, I'm asking because Vela wants a nap. She's
Okay.
tired and crabby.
Okay.
Uh,
Are you wanting to call it a night? Because we can call it a night. Um,
No, Vela's tired and crabby. Dusty's not tired. Dusty is also tired. She's trying not to be crabby, but it's more like the crabbiness is mostly just because I can't figure out what the answer to this problem is. Like, I feel like there's no good solution here. But I know that solution-wise, Vela's not going to be as helpful until after she's got new spells, because right now I don't have any spells. Like, my anti-cultist mentality kept me from preparing any spells that impacted people's free will, and now I'm fighting a cultist and realizing the value of spells that impact free will is to be able to fight people who don't give people free will. And I can't do any of those spells currently on these people whose free will we want to remove.
I do think there is something more important than her life to her. She serves someone. We don't really know that dynamic. And I don't really know how we would use that, but the person or creature that she serves, that might give us some leverage as well.
Well, Robespierre serves something else as well.
Mm-hmm.
It might be something that could be leveraged in that favor. He's also bound to one of the artifacts. I feel like he's a little indisposed at the moment. Perhaps we want him to do the questioning.
Right. But I mean, there are fates worse than death, is what I'm saying. And if
And
this
I
woman,
also,
right?
I think Robespierre might be better able to speak
Mm-hmm.
to that.
It's beyond my area of expertise, but if she lets down her goddess, if it's a goddess, the Spider Queen, she might suffer into eternity. But I think you're right. Robespierre might understand that dynamic a little bit better than I do.
As a player, I don't like to kick the can in that regard, but I also think that Robespierre as a character is more likely to be able to speak to her in a way that
Mm-hmm.
resonates.
all right.
Whether that puts a lot of pressure on Winston, maybe.
I know.
Yeah.
But I think
But
Yeah.
I think Elva's mentality is that Robespierre's personal bonds make him more able to speak to her in a way that she can understand in light of what Mary just said.
I think this is exactly what Winston was hoping I would be able to avoid for him.
Yeah.
Oh,
He did
well,
not
but
want people to kick the can to not play because he wasn't here. So he's like,
I
just
Yeah.
just don't know how we can not actively, like, how we can be respectful of Robes's impact, because we all know he would have really strong opinions on the process that happens here
And I also think that
and insight.
that's the big thing for Elva is that she believes Robespierre would have insight onto how to talk to someone in this position from the little bit she knows about his situation. Because
yeah,
she
he
only
knows.
knows what he's mentioned, which is limited at best.
okay.
Yeah.
But
And
she
he's had
thinks
the
he might have
dreams
insight.
about, yeah, I think Mary would agree with that, where it's like, Robes has shared, he's had dreams about these, I don't know, bracelets or threads or whatever. He knows more about that dynamic than the
What
rest of
she
us.
might be serving and what the
Yeah, and
consequences for failure might be.
exactly. And he also has the the moral state of mind where he would be able to use that, where I don't think Mary would never. I don't know. I'm bringing it up, and I'm trying to bring it up in character just because we're playing characters. But Mary would never say, "Oh, threaten somebody with hell and damnation to speak to us." Like
Yeah.
that's just not her style. Robespierre
Yeah.
might do it.
I think it might make sense to kick the can because
Robespierre might have the capacity to put her in that position. We don't
Yeah,
know.
I think
Right.
so.
yeah, and it's loud like it's lousy to end an hour early, but I just feel like
It's not the hour
I
early. I
don't
just feel bad because he really did not want us to end early, or he was very clear.
like he
Yeah.
didn't want to be
He wanted
didn't
me.
wanna
He
be a
wanted me
catalyst
to
for
make.
shit.
He wanted me to make decisions for him, and I can.
Well, you can make decisions for him, but we're not asking for decisions.
I know.
I think that we, as players,
Would rather play with
want
Winston being here.
Winston Robespierre
Yep.
to be the one asking these questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think we're in agreement here that Robespierre is best poised to talk to this woman in a way that she will understand. And I don't think any of us here want to RP Robespierre in that regard.
No.
Okay.
And I think relationship.
Oh, it could be fun, eh?
It could be fun, but I think it would be inaccurate. And
Yeah.
Robes has a very specific relationship with Gellin
Mm-hmm.
and an understanding of background there. Like, if Robes was truly not on the deck for this, I would have walked over and killed. Like, I just would have not spared the dying last time, because I'm just done with them.
I would have tried to stop that.
I know. And you
Yeah,
could have
Mary would
certainly
have
tried.
probably tried to do a medicine check.
Right?
Yeah,
But
because Mary doesn't
Vela
want
is
to take that into her hands.
mostly
Well,
I'm done because I feel like we don't have
Gellin is under my protection.
right. Well, and Gellin, I just feel like we don't have a good solution for how
I feel
until we kill him and revivify him. I don't feel like we have a good solution for questioning him, which is what I would like to do, is kill and revivify. But I also think that Robes should be the questioner based on
Right.
his relationship.
Right.
So we could get, if you're wanting to punt it, and we can just do the revivify and call and get the thread off, so that when we come back the thread is gone and we're just at the questioning part. That would be what I would prefer, is like just I would like to focus on Gellin more than Foreshade.
So we're going to wait
first.
around an hour until we get the diamonds that we're going to be here in an hour. And
Right.
then we're going to do the revivify and see if it works.
Right. We're gonna kill him, take the thread off, revivify him, call it good.
Are you doing that
So-
now, or are you doing that?
No, I'm asking you if you wanted to do that now or if you wanted to wait until next game.
No, I'm
Because
fine
I
with
think
whatever you guys
that
wanna
is,
do.
I think that is something that would happen whether or not Robes is present,
Yeah.
Winston is in the call.
I think we could skip ahead and say we've done that, but it is kind of false because we, in character, were saying we have an hour to wait for that. Let's question her.
Right.
And Vela would have fought that tooth and nail, because I don't think that she, like, personally, I don't think that she's a good one to wake up at all until I have some sort of will control spells in my deck. Like, Robes has counterspell, but I don't have anything that is forceful enough to stop her.
Well, and if you
spells.
feel strongly about that, I'm certainly not. Elva's certainly not going to put up a fight.
Yeah, I would have put up a fight on Foreshade for sure, because I really don't want to question her until after we've talked to Gellin, because I feel like
Then
he's the
I
weaker
say,
link and more
and
likely
if you
to
feel
give us
strongly
stuff
that
on
way, I
Foreshade.
think we're kicking the can on both.
Sorry.
And I don't
And it's
want.
not-
I
this is-
do not
yeah.
want Winston to feel like it's his fault. I think we're all making the decision that we need Robespierre to ask these questions
Sure.
because he's best posed to do it.
Sure.
We absolutely made the same decision with Winston last week when we let Gellin live because he was under your protection, Ed.
Yeah.
Right.
We made the same. We've already made that decision, or else they might have been dead.
Mm-hmm.
Because knowing that he was involved in destroying the monastery, Nubin's interested in knowing why, but I don't think he cares. He wants to kill him.
Yeah.
Well, Mary
And-
wanted to bring him to justice, but to bring him to the king, and absolutely there's no power to even hold him. She's feeling very disillusioned by this whole process. Like,
Yeah,
it's,
like why is this
let's bring him
jackass the
into the
king?
king. And then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, we are expected to put
We
this
are the
in
justice.
that. Yeah. And that's a huge adjustment. You talk about Newbin having
Yeah.
a shift. I mean, Mary's kind of like having a shift too. Like, okay, I guess,
Yep.
yeah.
Newbin and Mary are going to have to balance each other out now for the rest of the campaign.
Elva is perfectly
and I was thinking
happy.
that earlier, though. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, like where Newbin as a character,
Newbin would be
and
great
I know this
against
is
10 guards, but against 100 guards, you'd be dead.
no, I get that, but
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is, this is really about Tony's perception of
Right.
of all of this, not really Newbin's. But when I think about Newbin and I think about that chaotic neutral, and I think about some of the stuff, like as a player now, I feel like I need to take more. I either need to play up the chaotic, like I should have been through the whole campaign, or I need to really continue to focus on what other people in the party and how they're gonna like be a moral guide to be like, I would just kill him. He'd be dead.
Yeah, that's up to you. Like
It's almost like Newbin's gonna be standing there with a sword, looking over at Mary, like, "Can I do this?
Yeah.
Is it good?"
as
Well,
far
I'm
as
still neutral good, so I don't like. I'm kind of this, like, if they're killing us and that's the only way we can stop them, but to have a prisoner and to just execute them, that's a little different.
Elva's even
Yeah.
less guidance. He offers even less guidance because she's chaotic good.
I'm never gonna tell a player what your alignment. Like I don't like the idea of like alignment shifting from the DM.
Yeah.
You play what you want to play. If you like the idea of being chaotic neutral and you want to play into that more strongly, please do. But if you're thinking that that's not how Newbin would react now after hanging out with these fairly good people for the last 6 months, because it's really actually only been 6 months in game time, 3 years in real time, but
Elva's only been here for like a couple weeks.
a couple weeks. But if that's up to you. You want to change your alignment, do it. I don't have any problem. Anytime you want to change your alignment, go ahead. Please have an explanation, because I think that's fun for the story. But
But
do what you want.
I guess what I'm saying is, as chaotic neutral, because I've just learned more about how game mechanics really work, like that changes what chaotic neutral means to me all of a sudden.
Well, might
Like
be,
I'm not changing my alignment. I just feel like I need to play to it more.
you know, well, might makes right, and you are probably one of the mightiest people for 1,000 miles.
I think you end up at chaotic neutral as you age in the game. If you're looking at the game relativistically, and we have such a morally ambiguous group that is really hard not to land in a relativistic place where you're like, every situation has its own definition of good and bad, and I'm going to make it based on what's going on in that. So it's actually neutral, true neutral
That's
would be, I think, where people are, where I would land, where I'm starting to land is like, Gellen's a slaver. Everything about slavery is in the evil category in my head, and therefore it's okay to kill him outright. I don't think killing outright is good, but killing something evil, there's my true neutral.
as long as you've got your North Star, I'm cool.
I don't have a North Star.
Well, whatever that is for neutrality, right? Like you're like that's too evil. It needs to be ended.
Mm-hmm.
I think true neutral would also say that's too good.
Yeah.
Right. That's exactly. Chaotic neutral means I'm going to be doing things that are unexpectedly good and unexpectedly bad.
Yeah, and that's, by the way, how Adam was playing. By the way, the good also needs to be eliminated. But
Well, yeah, that's true.
yeah, but the point being, I guess, for tonight though, is you guys are saying let's wait until we can rejoin with Winston, right?
Can we just have done the revivify so we don't have to RP that when we start?
It's up to you.
Is there
I'm okay
Hold on,
with
let me
that
play.
if we think that Robespierre would not have.
Yeah,
objected.
that's
Well, let's
the
ask.
only
Let me
piece that
let me ask now. Is anybody foreseeing June 10th being, or sorry, whoa, 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 whoa. Where are we? July 10th being an issue.
is that the next time we're set to play.
Yes.
I don't think I have an issue.
Yeah, that's the night I'm going to be coming back from a vacation, like before I go back to work. But I should be here.
Because if we have another player not here, I don't want to play the game.
Seriously, I don't need to be here, but I will. Mary is not contributing
my
anything to this.
my rule is one player can't be here, we still play. But I
think in this campaign we just have such strong character connections after 3 years.
And such strong character will too, like.
Well, and this has been not contentious. Maybe that's not the right word, but we have not been on the same page with Gellin from the beginning. So it's like we're trying to be in our character's mindset, but then also as players being fair to other people's mindsets when we're not unified, and we've never been unified.
It's like each character has their own rule book, and we know that their rules are in disagreement with our character's rules, and we're trying to follow both rule sets as out of character people. And that's not fair, I don't think, to the people
and
who
it may lead to the same behavior. Like, I think Robespierre put on the bracelet for a vastly different reason than Mary did.
Oh, for
Mary
sure.
did it because I am neutral good, and even though it's not a good thing to do, it was a sacrificial thing to do so someone else wouldn't have to do it, and that's a very different mindset.
Speaking of,
in the spirit, wait, in the spirit of that, then I'm not going to do the revivify, because if we're talking about everybody having a different playbook, then no, we're not going to do a revivify without all the players being here, because I don't know what Winston would do in that situation. So we're gonna hold here.
So before we end, though, I think it would be interesting to have a conversation about who gets this bracelet. Assuming we revivify, where does the bracelet go?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I also think I don't want to put this all on Winston in the next game. I think we should brainstorm some questions. Maybe not decide, but brainstorm some topics that we might want to have him ask, so that it's not.
I think that is super fair and a good idea.
Yeah.
For the game.
That way he doesn't feel like we just punted because we didn't have any ideas.
No, and we could definitely do that.
We also don't have ideas, but
well, I think we do, but at the same, Ed had a few. There's some ideas that I think we generally have, but again, as soon as it starts hitting up against, well, what's his motivation? Weaver against Loth, there's just all those pieces at play, and so to start asking questions as soon as we get information, then we might hit a wall. So it's easier to brainstorm when we've got that perspective there. I don't know.
So I think from my perspective, for Shade is the question. Who is this? How do you know her? What tasks have you been assigned by Lolth?
Are you asking?
How are the Giants involved? I'm just brainstorming.
Those are just things you're throwing out there. Yeah.
Somebody want to type them into the chat so we have them saved and we don't.
Well, we might want, not that they're guaranteed to ask us questions or answer our questions, but they had this giant sling sword. What the hell do they want it for? That might be important because we're supposed to be getting information about the Giants too and what the Giants are planning. Right?
Do you want this in?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Forge or Discord? Do you want this in Forge or Discord?
I think Discord we all have access to outside of the games, whereas we don't always have access to Forge.
You should. It should actually be.
Well, but if you're playing another game.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Because and honestly, we're paying for that not to be a problem, and I haven't set it up yet.
Uh-huh.
Sorry.
Yep.
One of the things I would suggest with the and this is for next time, but with the bracelet, since we know they get activated, like when I put mine on, it wasn't at full strength. So I think Robespierre and Mary should be nowhere near Gellin when you guys take it off. So whoever puts it on, or if you put it in the bag of holding, or whatever you do with it, I think the two of us should be away from it initially, just so I don't know, it doesn't get stronger. That would just be my 2
Well,
cents worth.
I guess I'm confused on that a little bit because Gellin and Forshade were together already. I would think that the connection between those two bracelets was already there.
Either
I know, but
anybody who has Arcana proficiency can make an Arcana check. Do any of you have that? And check Winston. Check.
I'm just speaking again from Mary's experience. Like, she does not have Arcana proficiency. She has an intelligence of 10.
Uh,
And it just
Yeah.
seemed like the safest thing is to stay, like,
no.
hey, if mine's
Well,
not.
I'm just throwing this out as a possible way somebody could, as you say that out loud, then somebody can say, well, actually, if somebody's got Arcana.
I don't have Arcana, but I do have awareness of arcane things and a high intelligence.
Yeah.
So
What
I will roll it
about
back.
what about Robespierre? Does he have
I don't think he has
proficiency?
Arcana, but he might.
I closed his window.
I got it. He does not.
He does not.
Okay, go ahead and roll your intelligence, Elva. 11 is not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It may be a pointless thing, but I
would
just
say
figured it might make sense,
from Elva's perspective, untrained in Arcana, just her knowledge of the arcane, she thinks that likely the item that Forshade had is not necessarily connected that closely to the one that Gellin had now, because it's now bound to a different person. And this is just based entirely on her assumptions about how this works. So those two bracelets are not necessarily connected. The people wearing them were. So she's saying we don't have that risk now. And this is based on the 11. This is just based on her understanding of how the arcane works.
But if that's the case, Robes and Mary are incredibly close.
And Robes and Gellin are connected also.
Yeah, and Robes has the strongest bracelet that we know of. I mean, we can't attest to Gellin's, but Robespierre was aware that his leveled up.
So if it's based on personal connection, Vela's really happy because it means that Mary and Robes are not as close as she thought they were.
I'm not close to Gellin. I've got like second level. I don't have third level, but I hate Gellin.
Oh, fine. As you clarify.
I don't know what so that was the only, like, I don't have that level of understanding. Mary doesn't of the items. It just seems like they resonate with each other. So unless we're wanting them to be strong, maybe to start with us not being near them, I don't know. And then if it's like, oh, this is really empowered, then okay, we discovered it doesn't make a difference. It has it has to do with something else, It's just eliminating a variable.
Okay.
But I don't know
which. Like Gellin could answer a question on that.
I mean, they each might know more information about them. I would think Forshade would, I mean, just because she worships the Spider Queen, would know more than.
How do we know she worships the Spider Queen? When did we learn that?
Might have been an assumption.
I don't know. I don't know if we flat out were told she worships but everything about her screams Spider Queen. So I guess I'm assuming that.
I would just yeah, I would echo what Robin just said. Lots of, I mean, you're right. You have never been told that, but she's wearing a bracelet that you know is connected to Lolth. She's with.
He has a whole spider motif going on.
And again, not to be
You
racist,
all
but she's the same race as the people that
right.
were in the Imasha duel when we were under and then attacked by the Spider Queen's people as she's trying to take over. So she just seems connected in a lot of different ways to Spider Queen.
Gonna bring up a
Yeah.
deep cut from about a year and a half ago. But you did hear this back when we were in Lamasha Duel. You heard that the capital was Errol High Kinlu, and that they were unhappy that Limasha Duel had left from the true faith, and they sent Driders to
remember
attack.
that. Yeah. I have that written down. I remember that happening.
It's a deep cut, but
Yeah.
Errol High Kinlu is the capital of Drow society, although it has splintered, and many Drow have decided they are not necessarily beholden to what the mothership says. And Lamasha Duel was trying to found a trading port, if you recall, with the upper lands. And your crush was hoping to head off invasions from Errol High Kinlu. This is going back a year and a half in game time.
Shalagala.
Yeah. So that you would though remember, like, what was really probably 2 months ago for you was Errol High Kinlu was actually the Drow capital that was trying to reassert the true faith of the Demon Web Queen. Minor plot point a year and a half ago, major plot point now.
Right.
I'm trying to make sense of what you just said.
One doesn't
it's
forget.
It's a city, not a person.
Errol High
Errol is a city?
Errol High Kinlu is the capital city
of the Drow?
Of the Drow Empire.
And that's where the Driders were sent from to attack the city we were in.
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh, we weren't in Errol, whatever.
No,
you were in Lamasha Duel.
Yep. That's okay.
And he was
that
worried.
Was right
he was worried that there was going to be reprisals from the High Priestess. And then, as you guys, after you mucked about with Baracus' book and it exploded on Nubin, then you went out into the streets and there was a Drider attack, and they were all concerned because Errol High Kinlu was attacking Lamasha Duel.
We tried to fend it off, and then your boyfriend was killed, and then you found a new boyfriend.
That part I remember. It's the politics of it that I don't recall any of. Oh. I remember finding cultists with spiders on them.
I think I may have been more wrapped up in making fun of the relationships as well.
Yes.
Right.
Also, the
fact I remember vividly because I wrote it down and was paying attention to spiders attacking. But
also, Nubin, you
were paying attention to spiders. I don't like them.
Nubin/Tony, you were freaking pissed off at Chris Chris didn't do it. It was me controlling Chris's character for having the book blow up in your face.
Yeah, I do remember that.
So you were like, you tricked his book.
That was.
You opened his diary and it blew up in your face. So
Robin, as you understand the politics of what Paul just said, say it again in a different way.
Oh, well, okay. So we're in a city that actually is friendly with us, but these people in the capital don't like that they broke away. They want everybody to worship the Spider Queen. So they're going to send their spider warriors to conquer the city that we're in. And we fought back, but then we left. So God only knows what happened after we left. But that's my understanding of it. So the only Drow that we've encountered have been there. Okay.
Well,
that's Mary giving the.
I wish I'd said it that way. I'm sorry.
I was like, I don't know who Errol is. Oh, Errol's a what? Okay, that's going to make this whole... I have to rewrite the sentence in my head.
I will put Errol High Kinlu which, by the way,
It doesn't matter.
has a Wikipedia entry if you're interested.
Right. It just doesn't matter
Gosh,
in
that was
terms
a long
of, like,
time ago.
It was.
So the Drow worship Lolth, and we know that.
Not
and
all
then-
drow.
Not all,
of the.
but yeah,
Hashtag not all Drow.
right.
They worship
But that's where we first ran into the Loth worshippers.
the Lolth worshippers, because this is at the time when you had been a spider briefly during our river battle.
Right. After
discovered
we left the mic in
How
it.
terrified Vela was of spiders. Then we fought giant spiders.
Mhm.
Then my wishful boyfriend was killed, and then
Alduin,
there
yeah.
were there were spiders on the iconography of the cultist bodies that we found.
That drow was fire. I mean, he was attractive.
Yeah.
He had a smell to-
Shalagala, man.
Yeah.
He was dreamy
He
He
eyed.
did rescue his brother.
He was missing his brother, and you guys did not pick up that side quest, which is fine
No,
because it
we
was.
did.
Yeah, we would have rescued him.
Oh, you did. That's
We
right.
went and rescued
Yeah,
him.
you
Yes,
rescued him
Mary's
from.
like, we're not leaving until
Oh,
we
that's
get
right.
we
That's
got
right. You
him.
did rescue the brother, but
And
Shalagala was dead.
Yeah.
yeah, and brother was like not even close to as dreamy as
No,
Shalagala.
he was the under.
Average
He was the.
Eldrin.
Wait, did Robes? Oh, did. I'm sorry. That was you, Ed. I was like, is
No, that was me.
What
somehow.
happened?
You must
Errol
have been
is
right.
king,
Yeah.
kin in the loo?
I didn't type that. Oh, you must have selected his token accidentally.
I did.
Okay.
This is just creepy.
Wow, that is not how I spelled it at all.
For a half.
But
A what?
that's okay.
Errol High Kinlu, if you ever want to Wikipedia it, which you probably shouldn't because it's spoilers, but Errol High
Errol is high, kin in the loo.
Errol High
Oh, no.
Kinlu is the
Got
capital
it.
of the Drow in 1E. That is what it was, and then I have changed a little bit of its lore.
So if
Oh,
you're
Vidal.
curious, we were there on July 26th, 2020. So that might be why your memory is a little bit,
Holy
you know.
cripes!
Well,
2 years ago.
yeah. That was Salt Marsh number 25.
That was me replacing. That was me replacing Module 5 in the book because I did.
Who is writing as Robespierre?
Oh, you guys.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna bring it to a
Okay.
close, and
So
I
we're not revivifying.
may or may not
we
post
did
this on YouTube.
brainstorming.
Oh boy.
We're not revivifying.
Not tonight.
We
Not if you're gonna
did-
make
we
ethical
did-
concerns about what robes would do.
We did brainstorm 3 questions that I have, which is why do you have a sword of giant slaying? How is Foreshade involved with you? What do you gain from your partnership with Wolf? Did I miss any questions? That was me trying to sort of encapsulate multiple into 3.
So these are questions for her
Yeah.
or
For
him?
shade, right?
For Gellin.
These are for Gellin.
Oh, these are for Gellin.
These are for
Okay.
Gellin.
Okay,
Is my
if
mic
there's
not
any-
working? I
Could
feel
ask.
like I keep
No, it is.
talking and nobody can hear me tonight.
You're fine.
Okay. Go ahead.
We want to know what they know about what the Giants are doing.
What they know about the Giants.
Yeah, if the king was, if you didn't ask that, the king would suggest that's his concern.
Right. No, we put that on the list. Sorry.
yeah.
That was one of the first things.
And Elva wants you all to get closure on your shit, but she doesn't have any investment in Gellin, so she wants to know what they know about the Giants.
Well, that was
Right.
our whole
I-
quest, our most recent one. So
The only thing that's going to bring closure to me with Gellin is execution.
And
Bela is
Robes
pro death penalty
are not-
at this point.
not robes. Noob would be. Sorry, I've been speaking as robes for so much. I was as surprised by it as you guys. But Noob would want to know. I mean, if he's amenable to answering questions, he would ask something about what was the benefit, or what was in it for you to attack my monastery.
yeah. I mean, you can always ask. I mean, even under certain compulsions, we're not likely 100% to get answers, but I think it's worth asking.
And that could be the question that I ask just before I kill him.
I'm just waiting for something to happen where it's like party turns on each other, because this could do that. Like if you guys try to kill Gellin and Robespierre feels strongly enough about it, and Elva, who's protecting Gellin,
I won't
mean,
kill him without group consent.
it could very easily turn into
You
party
will or
members
you won't?
attacking each other.
I will not kill him without party consent.
Okay.
I think
But
on
I
that.
decided
strongly
yet.
wish to.
I think on that line,
And
I'm
the
gonna
other thing-
close
sorry,
out the
sorry,
stream.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
The
Yeah.
other thing we were going to talk about was who gets the thread.
Oh, if
When
you
we
want
take it
that to
off
be on the
Gellin.
stream, so that we have this for, posterity to review in 2 weeks, that would be good.
So
I heard quite frequently that it won't be robes, so this is.
it's not robes for sure. I don't think we should give it to Mary. I don't think any of us
No.
should wear more than one.
I agree.
So it's down to the three of us.
Elva would take it for the same reason Mary took hers, because then it doesn't go to someone else.
Okay.
Because it serves the greater good if it is separate.
Noob's already been possessed once. He wouldn't be chomping at the bit to take it.
It does take
Do you feel possessed?
I'm not certain that Elva will put it on, but she does feel like she could hold it and keep it from others.
When he had the sword, he felt a little possessed by the sword.
No, I was asking Mary if she felt possessed.
I don't know yet.
Yeah, she's only had it on for a minute.
Yeah, a couple hours.
So wow, why did we freeze? I still have it up.
Because you said you were going to turn it off, and it was like, screw you guys.
Yeah, we've been frozen, but I don't know why, because I've got the screen up. All right,
I'm in a really awesome position.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop the stream. We'll come back in 2 weeks' time with maybe yeah, we'll see what happens. All right. Until that time,
play, give.
Roll some dice, play some games, and maybe a little bit more now than even a week ago. Give some time, some maybe not treasure, but more time to causes
Treasure's
that are
also
important to you.
welcome.
Treasure's also welcome, but now's a precarious time.
Fight the power.
Fight the power, everybody. All right, yeah. Thanks, Tony. Perfect ending. All right. Have a good night, everybody.